Okay, welcome back to our Chinese brush painting landscape painting class at Jocelyn Center, Alhambra. Today we're going to study Baishi's old house painting in the 1921 album. He did this after he moved to Beijing. So his hometown is in Hunan province. Can you see this? It's a small photo I found this morning. This is a home museum now. That's his birthplace. On the colored picture, it's actually tiled the gray, kind of black gray tile, but looks like a thatch, right? Not a straw. I think his family, like Mao Zedong's, they're similar style. It's like a well-to-do family, not the richest, but not the poorest in the countryside. So this kind of house is very common in countryside, with a mudded wall and tiled or thatched roof. In Hunan province, you can see the rice paddy around and a lot of trees. So the main thing is the outlined house. How to do that? I will do a demo first, and then I will explain the techniques. Okay, so he will use a soft brush, but I use a combination brush. You can also use a stiff brush if you want, because his line is very how to say, solid and firm or true, not drafty or what we call the like a repeating sketching, that kind of. So you can load the brush with medium dark or dark. I think not pure dark maybe, but it looks like pure dark. You can also use pure dark. I think in the foreground is okay. So I just load the brush with a gray, dark gray to start with, and then I touch a little bit pure ink. And you can, let me get a piece of paper towel here so I can test. Whoops, I just get out of. It's stuck. That's all I have. It's okay. Just a testing. Okay, now it's black. For the roof, you start from the lower left to the ridge, the high point, and then go down to the other corner. For this one, you go from the far side, and then go up, and then slant or level, and then another one going up and down. Okay, and then the walls. And this one, I think you could do, the principle is you do the front first. So maybe you can start from here. But this one, although it's in the front, but it's kind of softer than this. So maybe we can just do this middle one and then add the other. So let's do. But we need to have a draft. If you have charcoal, you can do some sketch. So proportionally, this house is very big. even goes outside almost outside the frame, right? This is it. So let's just do this one. I think I changed my mind. I just do the front one first. But this one is not the main hall. So it's like a side building, it's something like a storage room or something like that. So you don't want to paint it too large. Let's just do the roof first. It's pretty low. Keep it low, and the proportion is like the tan style building that you can still see in Japan. It's very. I use the word squat feel. It's like a cugging the ground. Right. The roof is extended beyond the walls. Okay, let's do that. And this one is very slightly up, I think. So it's pretty long. But again, my paper is very, it's different proportion. This is longer. So if I do the same proportion here, I may have to stretch it. I think that's probably we have to do. So it's about 1/3, maybe a little bit beyond 1/3. That's the one corner I marked there, and I go from here to here. Okay, the tip-centered stroke usually hold the brush perpendicular to the paper. However, you can also drag or pull it by keeping the brush tip in the middle of the stroke. So you don't have to hold it straight if you feel more comfortable. So this angle is very slow, a lot steep, not like the house you will see in German or in Laos, place where you have snow. This is southern building, so a lot of rain but no snow. So this slope is pretty. I think it's maybe 15 to 20 degree. You think so? Okay, so that's the angle, right? And then you just do this line could be lost and found, not so solid. It could be like that, just softer than because it's kind of out of the sight, right? And as I mentioned, the roof extended beyond the wall, so this is a little wall indicate that the structure, and then you can draw the inside later. Okay, so I reload the brush with pure ink. Now we need a solid color. Okay, here I have this lower left corner where I start. And you can see a blob. You don't want to copy that. It's like a bone stroke, but you don't have to emphasize the bone head. Okay, the key is to hide the tip, so it's not like a teardrop start. Let me dry the brush a little bit so it's not going to blur too much. So keep the low appearance, like stop, pause, okay, and then go down, and this two corners should be leveled. I think it's a little bit lower maybe, but yeah, so this one is lower than this corner. Okay, so here, again, the angle is my concern. So this is almost parallel to this one, right? It's a lot of geometric shape here. And it goes beyond this point, right here. So you can dot it if you want. So as you go from A to B. Just, you don't have to go back, just pause quickly and lift quickly without making a bonehead. But there is bonehead, like that's okay. It's like calligraphy. And oh,
Too big.
too big. Yeah, you see the problem. If you copy exactly, you run out of room. That's a big problem, huh? So let's just okay. I just take this as a lesson. So if you just copy exactly like proportionally, it won't work. You know, incidentally, I have a commission recently to enlarge a picture from a little photograph into a large scroll, and the person who sent me the picture, the original, is different proportionally to the large scroll that is already made. So she just asked me to copy, and when I copy, it's impossible, just like this. I met the same problem. I used a projector kind of thing, but I cannot and I have to redo that. And so I have to kind of recreate this later. But at first, we try to understand the structure of this, and then we'll adapt to our proportion. So we just let it go beyond the. So I just take this as a study. Okay, let's see how far we can do. Okay, this is pretty zoomed in, right? So we just take this as a. And you can do this near corner because we're out of paper already. So we have to make everything smaller if we want to make it fit. So by study this, I learn a lot because I read this many times, but I didn't realize this kind of alignment. It's so interesting to find this inner, underlying structures. Okay, you might ask, is there a perspective like a Western scientific perspective involved? No, you can see this almost like the opposite. This side is actually bigger than this near side. There's no foreshortening. But on this one, I do see the influence of Western perspective a little bit. So we just go. See, that's the mistake I made. I'm supposed to do this line and the roof line first. Okay. But anyway, I did the eave first. But this parallel. Yeah. Now I'm going to draw the inner. So I just treat this as a partial study, maybe not a complete painting. Anyway, so this inner line is parallel to the eave line, or the corner, what do you call this? You don't have to vary the distance, I think. Just draw parallels. I didn't count how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, just too dry. I think from bottom up is easier. Okay. And then this, we can repeat a little bit. So basically parallel lines, right? And just keep the stroke neat and clean. And he does this very slowly. I try to rush a little bit, otherwise we don't have time to. Okay, I hold my arm with my left hand. Just to stabilize. This tile are a little bit curved upward, not concave, because that's northern tile because they have less rain. I think for rain protection, the tile must go up like this. Not like this. Okay. Try to keep it not split. Although I tend to use split brush because my first landscape style was after Baishi. He always used a split brush. Baishi is the opposite. He always used tip concealed centered stroke, like writing standard calligraphy instead of grass style calligraphy or signature style. So he does this pretty fast. Why? Because I think he start wash before it gets dry. So if you paint too slow, it might dry already when you wash it. That's why you use a soft brush, which can hold lots of more water than, ink than stiff brush could. So if you use a stiff brush, you tend to reload more because the capacity of loading is less than soft brush or the goat hair brush. He always used. I try to see how fast we can do. Thanks for your patience. It's just like a meditation, you have to enjoy. You really will enjoy this. This kind of painting, and I just use clean water to blur it a little bit. You see, he left some white untouched. That's we call it to give praise to the painting, not dead. So just let it blur and leave some highlights, I will say. Just use the Western term help you to understand what this means. Some highlight, I always call it. And then the other apertures, very simply, you must have this wall, and as I mentioned, not too far from the ground. Keep it low. Okay, this one, you can even see this line. What do you call this? Ground. And then just a door, and through that door, and you can see the corner that pointing to this line, right? And then the inner wall. No, I don't know where it is. Anyway, it's like one of the room could be, but as I mentioned, it's not a very scientific perspective. If you do scientific, you have to do the ground start from the ground and building up, just like a design school student will learn. Okay, just do this partial house. I don't have room for the window. Oh, we do have room for a little bit window here. So that's overlapping. I want to avoid that tangent, but he seems he likes it. So you can learn from the master, how he just know the rule and maybe a little bit detach. Not really a tangent. You can either detach or overlap. Not tangent. Tangent is like you make one point touch. Right? It's very sharp in composition. It's like grab your attention too much. That's why we usually avoid tangent. Okay, the door and. The door and the window is like a mouth and an eye of a person. But in Chinese painting, we rarely paint two windows. It will make it really looks like a person. Does that? I try to make sense to you. If I paint two windows, it looks too much like a person, but it is an eye and a mouth. Make an analogy. Because of that reason, you don't want to paint two eyes. Does it make sense? Okay, good. And that's just like a door, or you can shade the inner. Just shade the floor, so it makes it looks interior. But you can do this after it dries, so you will not bleed like this. But some bleeding is okay. So that's basically the house. Also, you do the shading.
I have a question.
Yes.
On the second house, it doesn't look like this roof. Should it be thicker? I don't know. It doesn't look dimensional.
Let me see. I think
flat.
I didn't look. I think the angle is too flat. I try to exaggerate that low appearance feel. I think this is probably too flat. Let's try to raise that a little bit. And maybe we can put a little inner line. No.
That's just my view. I think to me it looks like a little flat. No depth to it.
That's good observation. I think it is too flat. I think compared to the original. Now I can see what you mean, because I didn't really look from. Oh, maybe I missed this window.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Okay.
So this window adds the dimension to the whole wall. So it's no longer flat, right?
Yeah. Okay. I think that's
Yeah. So that's good. Let's just stop that, and then just do the tree. So we don't have room for the foreground, so this is just a close up.
Yes, that would be great. If you can, one more time.
Okay, 3 trees on the side of the building. Actually, it's tall here. I was looking the trees around here when I arrived. I see some pine trees look like this, or cypress maybe. So it could be any trees. The towering cypress, if you want. These are just, horizontal dots, we call it Mi dots. Mi is the artist family name in the Song dynasty, London Song dynasty. Actually, their father and the son team are the father is big dots, the big Mi dots. The son is called small Mi. Literally, the dots also different in size. I think. Okay, he didn't really do two. He just big one horizontal dot. Next time I will remember that. Because on this paper you cannot really combine strokes. That's very challenging. So you have to do it like this. Just press down all the way. It's just okay. This is not dark enough. You can see that the dots is almost as dark as the trunk, so it covers it. Right? But yeah, if you want to make sure if the tree is in the front, I think it is, so, because this plan is in front of the house, right? So you can cover the eave. Again, this is a tangent kind of thing, but he does overlap the. So if I do this house in the tree in front of the house, I must cover the eave a little bit. But he also tried to keep the feature of the house, the eave. That eave is nice. So this kind of detailed arrangement is all part of the composition that you need to solve before you paint with pencil or charcoal, to plan ahead the front and back relationship, that kind of thing. I can use an iron to dry, if I want. Let me just make one of the tree maybe darker. So I just make this small tree a little bit darker. And put that line, the dark one, behind. Blotting before it gets too smeary. Okay, so that gives it also depth. So in the front and the back, you can just blur this a little bit. Okay, it's a little bit shading. It has started to bleed. Okay, so I don't have room for. Since we don't have background, we don't have to do the foreground either. Just leave it. So it's like a very close-up view, and to finish, you can sign here. Like I can sign here. Or you can put another tree. I don't think it would be too much to add the tree. He signed right above this tree. Interesting arrangement. That's my Chinese name, first name. And I just put a seal. He did right under the signature. It could be. Let me see where to put. Yeah, it could be just right on the stroke. My seal is pretty small, so it should be okay to put. Oops, I got the ink on the wrong side. squeeze in here. So